Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I have some breaking news coming out here for you. We're going to be talking about the Russian government, and we've got some news that Vladimir Putin has officially removed Sergei Shoigu as defense minister, and he is going to be replaced by an economist named Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov. So this is an economist with very little military experience from what I'm hearing. And this is very interesting because we know that the war in Ukraine, at least on the Russian side, has not really been going as expected. Okay, from the very beginning of this war, there was lots of talk that they were going to take over Ukraine in weeks, that this was not even going to take months to complete this operation, and it was the complete opposite. We're now going into stretching into the third year of this war, and it's still not seeming to really go the way that Russia wants it to go. Okay, they're still attacking the Kharkiv region now, but from what I'm hearing, it's not going completely in Russia's favor. They are taking some towns, but it's not like what we would expect. Okay, we would expect more of a steamroll, I guess, in some ways, because Russia's looked at as this big major superpower, but it really is not going like that for them. So I think we're starting to see a shakeup here because Russia's got to try something different. Okay, they've got to change up their strategies, and clearly with Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu being here, things are not going the way they should be. Although Sergei Shoigu is a very major ally to Vladimir Putin, so he has been removed and replaced with again Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov. Okay, and apparently as well, Sergei Shoigu is going to be taking up the role as Secretary for the Security Council, the National Security Council, and he's going to be replacing Nikolai Patrushev. Okay, so Nikolai Patrushev was the former Secretary of Security Council. Now it will be Sergei Shoigu. So he's not completely leaving the government. He's just stepping down from the defense minister role, or being forced to, I should say. He's being fired technically, or demoted, I guess you could call it. So we're going to be talking some more about this. Very interesting that this is coming out right now. Because there's this new front opening up in Kharkiv inside of Ukraine, and majority of this war is starting to stall out. It's really not going anywhere. The Russians are taking some land a little bit here and there, but it's not going as quick as I think Vladimir Putin would like it to go. And maybe they're concerned about the economy here as well, because considering that this guy taking over, Andrei Belousov, is an economist, this could show that maybe Vladimir Putin is concerned about the economy of Russia, that maybe it's taken a major hit here. And then also we know that many of the oil depots have been destroyed as well throughout Russia. So Russia's been taking massive losses here when it comes to their economy. And it's only going to continue to affect them whenever Ukraine is attacking their oil depots. So maybe that's why we're seeing an economist come into play, not so much a military expert. Okay, so let's take a look here on BBC and talk some more about this. Vladimir Putin removes Sergei Shoigu from Russia Defense Ministry. This just coming out 5 hours ago, but it was officially announced yesterday afternoon, I saw. Russian President Vladimir Putin is to remove his long-standing ally Sergei Shoigu as defense minister, the Kremlin has announced. The 68-year-old had been in the role since 2012 and will be replaced by Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov, an economist with very little military experience. Mr. Shoigu is to be appointed Secretary of Russia's Security Council. The Kremlin said the defense ministry needed to stay innovative. Reshuffles in Russia don't happen very often, so this is a big moment at the top of Russian politics. Yeah, also considering that Vladimir Putin just got reelected again for another 6 years in Russia, so maybe this is his time to start shaking things up and change the way the country operates, because I think it's going to have to really go into some sort of wartime economy, wartime mode to continue trucking along, because also there's a lot of potential of going to war with NATO as well. Okay, NATO could eventually engage with Russia. Maybe that's what Vladimir Putin is doing here. He's preparing for the long term, economy-wise as well, because their economy is going to have to maintain a war not only against Ukraine, but if anything happens with NATO, where NATO gets involved here, now they're really going to have to up their game and work on their economy to be able to maintain a fight against NATO if need be as well. So it says here, but Vladimir Putin remains the person who ultimately calls the shots. It was his decision to start the war in Ukraine, and all the big decisions are taken by him. The appointment of Mr. Belousov as defense minister will come as a surprise to many, given his previous experience. But analysts suggest President Putin is seeking to align the Russian economy more closely with the war effort. So, just like I was mentioning, maybe that's what they're trying to do is kind of shift the economy to align it with a war effort because that's what they're expecting. Years down the line. Maybe this thing is expecting to drag out for a long time, and like I said, the economy of Russia has taken a huge hit right now with all these oil depot attacks that I've been talking about. And I think there was just another one here in the last 24 hours. I'm going to dig some more into that and find that for you guys, and I'll try to do a video on it if I can find that information. So the decision to put an economist in charge of the Ministry of Defense reflects the changing priorities of the Kremlin and the huge amounts of money the Russian authorities are now pouring into the war in Ukraine, and Russia's need to boost the efficiency in the armed forces. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the proposed appointment of a civilian role showed the role of defense minister called for innovation. He said Russia was becoming more like the Soviet Union in the mid-1980s when a high proportion of GDP went on military spending. As a result, it was necessary to make sure that military expenditure was better integrated into Russia's overall economy. That would make sense if that's what they're thinking here, that they're thinking it's more like the 1980s when it comes to the economy, definitely spending a high percentage of GDP on military spending. So the one who is more open to innovations is the one who will be victorious on the battlefield, he said. In recent months, there has been rumors that Mr. Shoigu's position was growing weaker and that he could lose his job. In April, one of his deputies, Timur Ivanov, was arrested on corruption charges in a rare move against such a senior official. And Russia's campaign in Ukraine was meant to last a few weeks at most. Instead, it is now in its third year and has been plagued by military setbacks and big losses in men and material. Although Mr. Shoigu will remain in a powerful role as Secretary of the Security Council, the move appears to be a demotion for him. It's not yet clear what will happen to the council's current head, Nikolai Patrushev. So yeah, we don't know what the former Secretary of Security Council will be doing, whether he'll just be fired or maybe he will take up another role somewhere in the government or in the Kremlin. So yeah, big news here. Sergei Shoigu, okay, he's a huge player here, okay? Very, very big ally to Putin, and I would never expect him to do this, but at the same time, there's a lot of failures on the Russian side when it comes to this war, okay? It's definitely not going the way I think they expected it to go, and it's been dragging out a lot longer than I think even most of us probably thought it would take, okay? I remember when this whole thing got launched, I thought Ukraine was going to definitely struggle a lot more than what we've seen. And for the most part, Ukraine has been able to hold up. Okay, I'm not saying they've been perfect because they definitely haven't. They for sure have lost some land, obviously, but they've put up one heck of a fight for the most part. And I've been covering this for a good almost 6 months now, and for the most part, they're doing pretty well holding up against the Russians. Considering that many people believe that Russia has a very outstanding military and lots of equipment. They've got a strong air force, they've got everything, but yet they're still struggling to fight this war in Ukraine. And a lot of this obviously has to do with the weapons that are being sent over to Ukraine coming from the West. So yeah, but that's going to be it for this update. Just wanted to let you know what's going on here with this reshuffle within the Kremlin, especially with Sergei Shoigu here, because I talk a lot about him. So share your thoughts and concerns and opinions down in the comments section. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.